Good morning. Welcome everybody to the UUFP. Everybody on Zoom, new folks, older folks, known folks, not known folks. Welcome here to the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Pottstown. At the UUFP, we have been a liberal religious voice in Pottstown for 55 years, almost 55 birthdays in October. And we hear from a variety of voices every week, some of whom you will agree with more than others. But we hope in each way that every speaker will be able to touch your spirit, your heart, and your mind. We believe that every person matters, and diversity is a gift to be celebrated. We have come from different backgrounds and for different reasons, but we are all here because we have made the choice to join this fellowship family on this Sunday morning. So, whoever you are, wherever you come from, and whomever you love, we are so glad you are here with us today. If it's your first time here and you haven't signed the book already, please do. I think Miranda can help with that after the service. And we'll let you get our monthly newsletter, The Sojourner, to tell you what's happening around here. And of course, everybody is welcome to coffee hour. That's when we can get rid of the masks and enjoy some grub outside and some coffee. And I'm Mary Bryant. I'm a member of the congregation. I'm the service leader this morning. Our pianist is Carly Schell. And Emily Quarles-Maurer is handling the tech duties. This morning's issue was Windows is downloading over there, and it won't let me guide slides up here. So, and we have a paper jam, so we only got 4 copies of the order of service. So I'm just hoping that the order of service actually matches my talk. I think it does. So, if there are any announcements, please step forward to the microphone and please share with the fellowship.
Testing. Chrissy Houlihan, the U.S. Congressional rep for the 6th District, which is most of Chester County, some of Berks County, and Reading, will be at the Morgantown Library tomorrow at noon for a town hall, if anybody's interested. It's North Walnut Street, I think just north of 23, in the main part of town. It's not a necessarily Democratic-based region, so I'm guessing there may not be a big turnout, but I'll be there if anybody's interested at noon.
Okay, let's see. Good morning, my name is Miranda, and I want to just remind membership committee people that there will be a meeting this Wednesday, a membership meeting at 7:30 on Zoom, and I will send out an invitation to each committee member, and anyone else that would like to come, let me know and I will send you one too. And as well, on Sunday, next Sunday, the 17th, for people who are considering membership or would like to learn more about Unitarian Universalism, we're going to have a new UU or a UU 101 class held shortly after the Sunday service. So, and that could be on Zoom, if you'd like, or or it can be here in person. So, welcome, anyone that wants to.
Hi, I'm Kay. I've been washing down chairs out back with Laurie, so we're all sweaty. Next week we are going to try a choir practice on our own, and we're going to do meditation on breathing. So 9:30, I talked to Valerie this morning. We're going to give it a try so that we can perform for the 24th of July. Okay, then everybody is welcome.
Okay, while you're up, could you turn the ceiling fans on? Thank you. I forgot have to do that. Just hit buttons until we figure out which one it is. Thank you. Any other announcements? Okay, sit back, relax, make sure the phones won't ring, and the chimes will call us together. Our chalice lighting this morning is out of the gray hymnal. We light our no it isn't, I found it on the web, I don't know, it's somewhere. We light our flaming chalice by Elizabeth M. McMaster. We light our flaming chalice to illuminate the world we seek. In the search for truth, may we be just. In the search for justice, may we be loving. And in loving, may we find peace. My opening words are number 419 in the gray hymnal. Look to this day, for it is life, the very life of life. In its brief course lie all the verities and the realities of your existence, the bliss of growth, the glory of action, the splendor of beauty. For yesterday is but a dream, and tomorrow is only a vision. But today, well lived, makes every yesterday a dream of happiness, and every tomorrow a vision of hope. Look well, therefore, to this day. And now, as we are now singing with masks and while seated, because we won't project as far, and you know, COVID's coming back. So we're going to all sing number 118, This Little Light of Mine. a very short children's thing, but he might be a little young. But there is, he's fine, okay. But there is one thing we need to do today because I think is Kim on? Annie is turning 4. That's her birthday is today, so if everybody, let's sing Annie happy birthday. Happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday dear Annie, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Annie. I think they're probably home getting prepared. So, let's see, we'll do the baskets. Got 4 baskets here, but, you know, what the heck. One for each section, like we used to do. So, one reason that we've been able to stick around for 55 years is through the generosity of our members and our friends. This MES building was built by members who actually built and designed this. And it's another way of saying we wouldn't be here without everybody's generous contributions. So we're now passing the baskets to keep the doors open, the lights on, the bills paid, and to keep us as a liberal religious voice in Pottstown. And I thank you very much for your generous contributions. All right, gonna put your work again, another hymn. Everybody's been saying, hey, we want to start singing again. We haven't been singing for what, 2.5 years, roughly? So, hymn number 307, The Human Touch. And let's see, how many stanzas do we have here? Okay, I think we can do all 3 of them. You can always tell which ones we're more familiar with than others. Okay. This is the topic for this morning, is the end of your comfort zone. What does comfort mean? I went out on Google, I was looking for on the UUA website, looking for something where they were talking about comfort. And it always came back to somebody had lost something and was in a miserable place. And so I kept saying, comfort, it wasn't doing me well. So what does it mean? Is it helping someone through tough times of sorrow or needing help in such times? Is it the physical comfort of a favorite blanket and a good book on a chilly night? Is it the monetary comfort of knowing where your next meal is coming from and that you have a roof over your head? Is it the comfort of living your life in a way that doesn't put you in a place where you're really not sure you want to be? And if you're in such a place, do you go there voluntarily, or is it forced upon you? When I do my talks here at the UUFP, what ends up being delivered tends to diverge a little or a lot from what was actually planned and written in the Sojourner. On any given Sunday, I have started writing what I want to say about 100 times in my head before I sit down at the keyboard. And this comes from my training as a sports writer. And when I was starting out, 1979, we didn't have personal laptops, we didn't have Wi-Fi, we didn't have any of that stuff. So when you went to the basketball game, the football game, or whatever, you did the interviews, took your notes, and then drove back to the newsroom to write the story up. And on that drive, which could be anywhere from 10 minutes to an hour and a half, you write the story in your head so that when you sat down, boom, boom, you could type it right out. And so it just became a habit with me about writing things up in my head. And then, because of that, I could crank out 16 to 20 column inches, which is what they cover. You know, you've got a column and then you just measure how many inches in about an hour, no sweat. It was very easy. And then you'd go and you'd help with somebody else, with what's going on with the paper. So I was very, very comfortable with that. I'm also a procrastinator of the first order, and journalism is the absolutely perfect profession for procrastinators because you must get it done now. So, few UFP talks, or I've got time to write. Sometimes I've been literally thinking about it for months, like I have this one. They can take some seriously meandering twists and turns before I actually write them down and I get up here and I deliver them. And sometimes what you hear isn't always what I have here. And so I spent a lot of the time sitting at the keyboard going, okay, how was I going to start this site again? I don't remember at all. And then I finally remembered what it was. And I'd gotten a catalog before Christmas, because that's what we get before Christmas. And they had these plates, these little ceramic plates for serving candy and things like that. And they had some sayings on them. And there were two that really hit me because they were me to the nth degree. One was from Coco Chanel. It said, the best things in life are free. The second best things are very expensive. And then one from Julia Child, which I don't think this will surprise anybody, but a party without cake is just a meeting. Then there was the third one, and it didn't have any attribution. And it said, life begins at the end of your comfort zone. And I started to think, that's very interesting, maybe a little profound. I was getting ready for my big trip down to Antarctica, South Georgia, and the Falklands. And even though I had traveled alone before, for some reason I was feeling a slight apprehension about it, and I really don't know why. I knew I would know at least 3 of the other passengers and a couple members of a couple of the naturalists, and heck, even the captain of the ship. But you always worry, will I be alone on these? You know, will anybody talk to me? You know, the same thing that you worried about when you were the new kid in school, which I was a lot when I was growing up. I was also usually the shortest and the skinniest kid there, and I was constantly reminded of that by my classmates. And I think this may be hard for some of you who have known me a while, because I've been coming here since 1999. I was also painfully shy. A chatterbox, but shy. A little bit of a contradiction, but it was true. So up until recently, walking into a new place was absolutely terrifying to me. And just let me sit back quietly, leave me alone until I get the lay of the land. And I kept telling myself this trip was something that I'd been looking forward to for nearly 2 years. And I'd done several alone, and everything had worked out just fine. And of course, it did. was a spectacular time, and we were all such a small group that it is one where we've actually done a really good job of staying in touch since we got home. Somebody took a list, put together a spreadsheet. Somebody else said, oh, let me put pictures of everybody so we remember. So it was really a bonding experience for a whole bunch of people. And that got me to thinking, what else have I done in my life where I have stepped out of my comfort zone and I've done things that I didn't think it would be possible for me to pull off? Or it just didn't seem like me. You would think that being used to being moving around as a kid, because we did constantly, about every 3 years up until we finally hit Chicago. And you would think that I would have been used to it. You know, like the army brats who move around all the time, they're used to meeting new people, but then all of them are used to meeting new people. We would move around, and some people had been in the area forever, for their whole lives. So I never have found it easy at all. And when I told somebody, oh, it's so hard, it's just awful, they looked at me and they said, really? But you were you know. And I said, I'm a darn good actress. You fake it till you make it, kind of, so to speak. But this is something I figured out not all that long ago. And there are so many things I wish I could tell my younger self, please stop worrying about this. It doesn't matter. Those little things just don't matter. No one will care, and neither will you in years to come. So stop hanging back and then slipping quietly out of the room. So here I am thinking, how many times did I step out of my comfort zone? And I think most of you can relate to this one, heading off to college. Or not, I don't know. I was 600 miles from home out in Lincoln, the only kid from my high school that was there. And I was with a roommate who was from Lincoln and wasn't particularly open to meeting me or anybody that she had her clan around. And I used to say she had Christian charity for everyone but me. And I was miserable. It was awful. I wanted to come home so badly, but it was that 600 miles and an hour by air, by United, to get home. And my parents had to pay for it, and they weren't. They said, stick it out, kid. You're gonna love it. You wanted to be there. Let's do it. And so I did. I had no other choice. The dropout rate, by the way, in those days was tremendous, because Nebraska is a true land-grant school, and all you had to do was graduate from a Nebraska high school to get in. So a lot of those upper kids who really weren't set up for college, and they went home. And so that we probably lost 50 to 60%, either between first and second semester, freshman year, and between freshman year and sophomore year. There were kids who just totally vanished. But my folks and their tough love and the orders to stick it out, kid, were the best thing that could have happened to me. I was 19. I could have ignored them completely. I could have left school. But what was I going to do if I didn't finish? I wasn't equipped to run my own house or to support myself. So even though I was unhappy, my comfort zone was staying there. And of course, staying was great. It was an incredible 4 years, and the only truly bad thing I remember was how cold it was. Nothing would break those Arctic blasts sweeping across the plains, and they were literally the coldest 4 years of my life, and I am a Chicagoan. Think about that. I found a letter that I had written. My parents kept every letter I wrote. And I found a letter that I had written them, and it said, one line said, well, we finally broke zero today, meaning we finally got above it. It had been, I think it was 10 days to 2 weeks below zero. So, Now, it's a long and winding story as to how I started out as a sports writer and ended up in IT support for a drug company. We don't have time to go into all of it, but there was a lot of stepping out of my comfort zone as I went along. And some of it was being afraid when I wasn't happy to make that jump into the unknown. And sometimes it was a shove then that took me out. The first shove being the shuttering of the catalog by Sears in 1993. It was something that we all felt coming, sort of. We thought, little cut, little cut, little cut. The complete shutdown was something that none of us did. It was a tremendous shock, as was the 3 local affiliates, WGN and CNN, in the parking lot when we walked out, wanting to interview us. I said no. To this day, I regret not doing that kind of fun. But I'd been there for 9 years, and I was working with people that my mother had worked with before I was born. So it was a place they had worked together for 40 years. So it was a place where everyone expected to stay their entire life. And even if it always wasn't fun, it wasn't always fun, it was easy, and again, it was comfortable. The pay and the benefits were good, and the work wasn't hard, at least I didn't think it was. And there were days I was bored to tears. I should have jumped before that shove, but I didn't have the nerve. There were 2 other ones, 2 other shoves, and then the final one was by the drug company, where I replaced myself doing the same job, except this time for a consulting company, which was every bit as stupid as it sounds. The job was fine. I loved it. Helping people to solve how the heck did that happen, mysteries with their computer programs, was fun, and it was rewarding. The management style and HR policies of an offshore consulting firm, not so rewarding, and so I jumped and I retired. So huge comfort zone jump change. Or was it? I don't honestly know, because I haven't regretted that for a second. I love it. It's great being able to go to Costco on Wednesday and not Saturday and Sunday. Makes a big difference. Then, away from the personal, there are where people have left their comfort zone because of the very brutal things happening. People in Ukraine. The Reverend Lynn Unger says in her work, Distance, surely we are safer behind some sort of wall, protected from the grief of belonging, but all along your heart knew it was a lie. The polite fiction that you tell a child, nothing can happen, you are safe with me. The residents of Highland Park, that leafy suburb on the lake, a world away from the daily shootings in the city just a few miles away. They don't feel safe anymore. It happened there too, not too far from where Michael Jordan used to live. One man who'd been at the parade said he expected it to happen, that because of the gun culture in the U.S., he thought it was a matter of time. And what a sad thing to say or to feel, and what is even worse, to have been right. Every single shooting has taken more and more people out of their comfort zones by brute force and incredible evil. Yet we rarely talk about the people who live in the neighborhoods where the daily shootings are a part of their life. That can't be anybody's comfort zone. Knowing where this latest horror happened, not more than 5 minutes from my stepfather and mom's house, and that the killer then went to Madison, where my sister lives, was frightening and so very sad. But it doesn't mean I wouldn't go to the Ravinia Music Festival in Highland Park again, or to a Badger football game. Being from the big, beautiful city on the lake, it's always in the back of my mind that something can happen. Not just big things, but little things. Anybody who's been to my house knows I will lock you in. My house is always locked. My car is always locked. It's not fear, it's caution. It's how I was brought up. I learned, it's just know what's going on around you. I came to the UUFT the first time because my mother basically ordered me to. And I was in my 40s, by the way. I didn't want to get scolded for not giving it a try. I got dressed up in a nice dress, shoes and stockings, because that's how they dressed at Mons Lakeshore Unitarian Society. Seeing jeans and pants and all the casual dress in here didn't do much for my comfort level that day. I felt I stuck out like a sore thumb. But everybody was nice and told me that I really didn't have to stay for the congregational meeting that followed. But I stayed anyway. And then the next Sunday when I walked through the door, the minister was reading and said, "Hey, how would you like to light the chalice this morning?" It was terror, because I was not prepared. You see, I was used to how they do it in Winnetka. The person who lights the chalice prepares a reading in addition to lighting the chalice. When I found out how we did it here, it was a relief. But I still was shaking like a leaf when I went up there to light it. And if anybody saw it, they probably thought, what the heck is wrong with that one? But anyway, so if anybody had told me that day that I would be up here someday, I would have said, "You're nuts. You're absolutely crazy. I would never be comfortable enough to do that." That thought it was so far out of my comfort zone, it didn't even occur to me. My first service was working with the late, great Jim Daly about my dad's service in the Second World War. I can't remember if I volunteered or was drafted, but I discovered it was kind of cool. I kind of like doing it. It's fun putting it together. Our first Reverend Dave Farrington, used to say that everyone has at least one sermon in them. So, I'm offering you the chance to come up here and do one. Now, some of you may be going, "Not in a million years." But it's an invitation to step out of your comfort zone. We're nice. We don't throw things at our speakers. And you may surprise yourself, and I'm betting you will. You don't have to do the whole thing, soup to nuts, like I do and Emily does, where you come up and put the whole thing together. I do it because I'm a bit of a control freak. But you can do as little or as much as you want. The worship committee of Alan, Emily, and me, and Lisa Jokio will be glad to help you with as little or as much as you want. We'll handhold you all the way up here. So, put on your thinking caps, think, "Hey, that's one I really like." For example, I've already got Kelly is going to do one for me.
She is.
Yes, she is. Going to talk about what she does. So, I've asked her twice, and she's confirmed yes twice, so she's going to be here. And I don't know if anybody's noticed how different this service has been than what I usually do, where they tend to be about stuff. You know, I like the Shackleton story, which I promised is coming to an end soon. I've steered clear of the more personal things that other speakers have gotten into. Today I did a little bit more, and it was definitely out of the comfort zone, but I did it. And I'm hoping that the message was received in the love that it was given. So thank you, and blessed be. And our closing hymn is number 324, "Where My Free Spirit Onward Leads." It's another new one. Sorry about that, guys. I won't do that again. We'll do all three. please read with me our closing words? We extinguish the flame, but not the light of wisdom, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts and in our hands until we are together again. Each Sunday, we come here because we value our time together. Each Sunday is a little different. We have different speakers and messages. We have our familiar and not so familiar music, and familiar elements of service. With any luck, each service helps to bring us closer together and to the world around us. Thank you for joining me this morning on my journey, just a little bit outside my comfort zone. That isn't it. When I took that picture, the camera was dying. Linda was behind me. We're on some river. And it was fun. We were way behind everybody. So now